All right, and we are live. How's everybody doing today on this crazy pre-election day or day of reckoning, whatever you want to call it? I don't know how you want to speak about it, be about it, but this is the day. After what a crazy night. I live streamed last night, and let's get into what I saw last night and what I did, kind of throwing into this idea here. Well, this is around the time, let's see here now. I was watching Bitcoin as it made its crazy moves, doing its thing. He loves to get rejected by 14,000. Just absolutely loves it. It's like, I'm going to come up here just to get beat down again. Now, when Bitcoin went down to here, 3,526, then when it came down here to 3,567, and then again here at this 3,7, at this area here, okay, trying to find exactly my pinpoint because we were going over dominance last night as well as Bitcoin. This is weird. Well, let me move the chart. What was that? Oh, my hand was... Okay, so when we look at Bitcoin, we were supposed to break out, didn't we? Came down here. We had extreme bullish divergence, okay? Right here. The more extreme, the more precise of a bottom. And I mean, that's almost a vertical line. That's almost the most extreme divergence I've ever seen. Tells you the momentum is, that's buying momentum, guys. That's what that's telling you. You have to begin to determine the philosophy of the math, right? Because there's an emotional deterrent, or, you know, basically it's transcending emotional frequencies through the math. If you can wrap your head around that. And there's a story being told. So that tells you your bottom here at 518. Now, if you also like to use Market Cipher, you can. We've back engineered it really and kind of figured out what it does. Green dot, there it is. So we know when the green dots appear. We know how Market Cipher creates the green dots. I've taught you guys that. So anyway, it's good to use this automated system, but to know the real meaning behind it. And yet again, there's your second time to get in there at 3619 and your third chance here at 3746. I made the call in the entire group that it was time to long Bitcoin at about 3,770. This was the place where I basically saw that we were bottoming, you know. And the reason is we came all the way up to 14,000 to come back down to 3.5 to bounce off that. And then when this lower low did not hit 3.5, that's your second higher low. The second higher low is basically the first depiction of an uptrend, right? Let's look at it on the 4 hour. How are we doing in retrospect to since last night? What's going on, man? Greetings. Let's get it. My friends, my lifers. Jesse making another great trade. I don't know, Jesse. I don't know if, you've been posting a lot of good trades, man. Nailing it. You've been kind of keeping up with me. It's been pretty impressive. I'll be honest. You've made more money than me this month, man. We don't know, but it's possible. Anyway, that's the point. Super excited about stuff like that. Being able to say that out loud. BS Social Swap up in the mix, man. ETH2 deposit contract release. Theo, all about trying to find that big win in the uni game. We will take a look at share token today. We're going to get a look at that. We're going to look at a few different things and see what's moving in the altcoin world. But so far, so good. My prediction is still kind of on its way, getting up to the top here. Now, it's good that it's gone sideways. Why is that? Well, the more sideways it goes, the higher the target, right? So the target probably will end up over here, somewhere here. And at this point, the trend line will be bigger and longer. Could we hold this trend? Technically, get a little bit. We could swing it up to the... If we use just the wicks, which I never use. Never like to use wicks. But if we use wicks, it's something like that. Brings us a little lower, but 14,900. Oh, you like this time to watch? This is your favorite time? Perfect for you. I know, but then I have people complaining about the 9:30 miss. So it's up and down, man. It's here or there. International group, man. You got to find your time when you can, and that's why we have the Telegram. You know, watch the live, jump in the Telegram, you know, use that information back and forth, find your way, right? Now the Dow on a beautiful pump too, up 600 points on a day after an election. Dow pumping. I said the Dow would pump as we had a 4-hour cross in the MACD, so everything was looking good on the Dow. Take a look at that. Not too bad, not too shabby. Okay, we're going to go over NIO today, going all the way to 39 on a huge pump. I mean, what a pump. Who could have called it? I mean, honestly, just like Goldman Sachs said, it will go to 39 the next day. Usually these things don't happen overnight, but that was a pump and a half. 45% gains coming out of $27. Huge move all the way since we've been tracking this. And look at it, if you just, all you had to do was keep playing the bull flag. And this thing has gone parabolic. Now, extremely oversold at this point. Okay, the last time you were able to sell here, let's take a look at the 1 minute because we need to see the veracity of this temporary movement. Feel like it's still kind of in the midst of the pump. The pump is not completely over yet. We got to widen this out and really look at it. But this is NIO right now. Taking a look at it. Now we see heavy bearish divergence. Okay, swing up to swing high, and then you have your clear swing down to swing low. Right? Will this travel up? We got to watch the rounded nature here. What if it keeps going up and it disconfirms it? But right now, we do have the bearish divergence. So this would be your sell signal here at 39. You know 40 is going to be a psychological region. We are in price discovery, right? So this could go, or are we in price discovery? Wait, let me not speak so soon. Let's see on the daily. So we are in price discovery. We've never been this high. What a great play. NIO. What a great play. Getting it at 17 as we've been tracking this. Sorry to go into the stock market, guys, but this is an energy company out of China making electric cars. 17 and up 125% gains on NIO. And it didn't take too long, honestly. One of the faster, if you basically bought the bottom of the trend line here, which you probably would have saw bearish divergence and then sold the bullish divergence, took you 44 days, not too shabby, to make 120% of your gains. One of the bigger movers. Selling right now would be a great idea. It's going to retrace. People are going to sell. Parabolic runs like this are never, you know, they're few and far between. Look how we are. Oh, just see if I spoke too soon. 12 hour, I just want to see no bearish divvy there. Yeah, but bearish divergence starting here. We got to watch it closely. Very closely. Back to the 1 minute on this. Still very bullish. But, and in price discovery. So at this point, you just got to start raising your stop. Throw a stop into 38 and see how much more you can get out of the day. That would be my suggestion if you're in NIO. Anyway. Yeah, I got home and got notification to watch it. That's awesome, man. Solo doing well, up 10%. Hitting its previous line of resistance. If it breaks that, look for Solo to go to 325 and then even up to 335, which then it could go, I believe, into new highs for sure. But watch out. Take your gains on that. Look, a lot of big wicks on that. But that's the regular market. So the Dow doing well. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Silver actually doing pretty good too. V-shaped recovery, holding the bottom of this trend line. Seems to have strong support on this 382 Fibonacci level that coincides with 2397. So silver looking really nice, doing well. SLV, which is a silver ETF, 29, bottom of the trend line. Look for it to break out. Big, up 36% gains. I'm looking for this up to 30. Really important we hold the trend line, but it also coinciding with support with the 200-day moving average. This looks great on the 6 hour. On the 4 hour, it's about to have, it had a MACD cross. Not a lot of momentum, but it is coiling up. That's what we want to see. We want to see a coil before this really erupts. The further it can get into this triangle, the more explosive the move. Pull out those Bollinger Bands. I bet we're tightening up there. So this is something you definitely want to watch. Might be a great play. I know it's going to be a great play. Silver, most undervalued asset in the world, in my opinion. Maybe Bitcoin could also be that undervalued as much as it will pump. But unlooked, unknown about, untalked about, silver right now. Look at FTM. Looks maybe like they finally found the bottom and support. You know what? I'd be wary of that, but let me show you something that's going on. We're going to get into dominance, and then we're going to get into the coins, but we just got to cover the basis here. So Bitcoin sitting at 1384 now, getting rejected. Let's look at that 1 minute so we can see how bad the rejection was. Do we see bearish divergence? A little bit, because this is flat line. It doesn't have to be textbook. It can be what's called secret, which I've coined here on my channel with you guys. And we have a swing up to a swing up. We have flat line here, and that's even Steven. That is bearish divergence, and that's where you definitely want to take your profits, close the trade. If you close on bearish div on the 1 minute, you'll be okay. You know, unless you're long-term holding. Look, we have strong support in this region now at 13,875, and that's going to probably take over. Let me show you how support and resistance has flipped on us throughout the time here. Now, Bitcoin was up, let's just say here. It hit 13,763, but had it that pull back down to 13,245. I thought 13,200, but 13,245 seemed to be the place. Bounced back up. Came back here for a bit of support, but as you can see, we had resistance at the level of 13,681. I'm just showing you how this plays out. Now, Bitcoin breaks out again, has a little issues going in and out in the chop at 13,691, 13,700 basically on the dot. Breaks out again to 13,800, but has to retest that 700 region. Once, breaks back out to 8, has to retest 3,700, hits it again, breaks out. The third time, it's going to wick down one more time. See how strong this region is? Down to 11,648. And what happened there? Huge wick action. You know, third time's a charm, bouncing off support multiple times. And then again, previous resistance becomes future support. This is resistance right here. Now we have support. We broke through, but boy, did we come back. It held support again in all these regions. We would come all the way up to 14K, come back to this region to bounce twice on a double bottom, make it back up again to 13,992. Okay, so now you see this level here, 13,900. We're going to put our line here, and we'll build the story. Now Bitcoin hits that line, has to come one more time down to this 11.5 region, which really coincides with this area here. Previous resistance where we hit. Obviously 11,500, we hit it here. Of course, we retest one last time. That's Bitcoin trying to tell us that, you know what? I want to make these previous resistance places a new place of support. It's doing what's called an SR flip for you in front of your eyes, coinciding with a very deep gouge here into the RSI, which even I know it's the 1 minute, but look, you don't see that all the time. If we go back as big as we can on the chart, which isn't a lot on the 1 minute, but it's a couple days, November 1st, 2nd there, all the way into the 4th, dude, you know, more than like 20, it's like 50, 60, 70 hours. Let's pull it for you so we're not guessing. How much does the chart show us on average? Okay, about a day. All right, it's a day. But we could squeeze it down. My whole thing is, okay, even here, you do not see the RSI going that low. Look, if I put a line here, hasn't been that low. Even with all these gaps going on. There's a close one, there's a close one. So that also, the more you see these things and the more your subconscious takes it in, these things have value, right? Any discrepancy has value. Damn, man. You can see it, right? Or you want to see the whole shing. So RSI dipping down here in this region. That was basically my indication. Okay, and then as I watched it, I jumped into Bitcoin around here at 13. I must have got in here at 13,760. Or this was the last one right here, 13,760, November 4th. No, that was another retest, right? A lower retest. No, that was the place, yeah, because I see it wasn't textbook bullish divergence, but to me, we were live and we were watching this live last night, and I said, you know, because it's just far more of a slant, you know, and we also played with the RSI. Maybe we had it a little wider. Might have gotten in, honestly, somewhere in here. 13,770 was my call. I was playing with the RSI here till we found a little bit of bullish divergence, probably right around there on that second hill. Came down a little lower to retest one last time, and then we were off to the races. Made a slight bull flag here, and then Bitcoin broke out. And that's why I called that region, because I'm finding, see, it keeps finding new support off of resistance, right? And now we have the support and resistance here. See, we hit it, and now we're bouncing off it again right here. So tells me that great area of support and resistance, as previously stated and as previously shown through example. Also, we also have the secret bullish divergence, not completely hidden, but you know, to me, these angles were at the time before I went in. I didn't see that jackknife at the time. To me, it was pretty textbook. We did get one more flag down. I feel like there should be a word that we can type in the chat. You can check and readjust the screen. Yeah, I mean, I should just check every morning, man, which I usually do. It's just been crazy with the election. I was looking at different stuff earlier this morning. I was up late, man. It's my fault. Just sloppy, man. Need to be better. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'll be honest, right? All right. Now, this is great to see. This is what we need, and this will could begin a lot of change for us. Now, these altcoins look like they were going to flag out, got rejected at 65. Like 65% Bitcoin, you took enough, right? We need to grow. We need the market to move. A lot of innovative ideas in the space. We'll take that philosophical idea and move that to the idea that, you know what? The market cap can't be all Bitcoin, because people are exploring and there's new stuff to talk about, right? And there's new engaging technologies and advancements inside of blockchain alone, inside of everywhere alone, honestly. Technology is booming, and no one cannot say technology is big, and like nobody can argue with that, right? Hold on one second. Guys, I'm live streaming, so you can't yell for any reason. So whatever's going on, you need to just be quiet. Summer. Summer, please don't complain. Just end it. Summer, end it. I don't care what it is. Summer, don't make me come upstairs. All right, I know you're not, but just end it. Just end it. Just end it. Don't go any further with it. I don't care what it was. I'm not saying you did. Just be happy. Just don't say anything. Take a deep breath. Come here for a second. Let me talk to you. I'm not mad at you. Come here. Come here, Summer. For 1 second. I'm not mad at you, I promise. Just come here. I gotta talk to you. For 1 second. I'm not mad at you. I said I'm not mad at you. Just come here for 1 second, baby. Summer. I'm your best buddy. I want to talk. I want to see you do this. Come here. So sorry about that. So sorry about that, guys. Yo, man, freaking screaming. My wife left me alone with 3 kids yet again. My friend, her friend's staying here who has 2 kids. So there's 3 kids here: 10-year-old, 6-year-old, and my 6-year-old and a 5-year-old. So, and they know, man. They mess with the moms all the time, but they know don't mess with dads, because dads don't play like the moms play around, and women wonder why kids don't listen to them. My wife, but when I come in the room, it's like, you know, you got to demand respect from these kids, and you have to use forceful language without yelling. Once you yell, they got you. You're getting all emotional, crazy. You have to speak to them sternly and let them know you're in control, you know? And it's for their own benefit, man. Anyway, 13,994 back creeping up to 14K. Now you can see this wick tells us something too as well. We got wick down, but we got wicked up. Now the last wick up was right here. That tells me we're on our way. Here's a wick here. That one wick propelled us pretty high, right? Someone did suggest, oh, we have an engulfing candle possibly, but these wicks, man, are telling you there's so much buy pressure. Look at this. And the thing is too, is what wicks are bigger and how many more are there? You know, it's almost like a wick battle. Like here we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. But here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bigger wicks in a way. 13,993, 994. Looking good. Is this an election pump? What do you guys think? Is this an election pump? You seen the Crypto Dad? That's an actual guy on YouTube. You know, he's funny. But is this an election pump? Like, is this a Trump pump? Is this possible? Or is this a Biden? Like, if we got to see it, like if it starts swaying Biden, does Bitcoin go down? If it starts swaying Trump, is Bitcoin going up? Is Bitcoin going up a sign of one of the other candidates winning? Right? No, it shouldn't. If enough money comes into the space, you get what I'm saying? If enough money comes into the space, see, that could also affect Bitcoin dominance. Like, let's take a look. Bitcoin dominance is a percentage, okay? So, yeah, exactly. Bitcoin's going up with the fold, right? Now, look at Bitcoin dominance, so bouncing off the bottom of this trend line here. I'd like to see it keep going all the way back down here. At least get caught by the 200-day moving average. So that's what we're going to look for right now. Bitcoin up, not the play though. Interesting. See how that, like, well, it says it. Oh, it was the play. I mean, obviously it has to be the play. Bitcoin back to 14,000, and I think that's its happy place, honestly. That's going to find a new support level here at 13,900. So now we're going to play with this. And this is how you just, if you really want to be a trader, if this is your life, you open that 1 minute and you get busy on it. You understand things. You're looking, look, okay, what does this mean? Well, that was a bit of a, inverted head and shoulder, head, shoulder, right? Pop. And then you say, okay, well, what's my target on that? Neckline to the head. Bring that up to the neckline on the right shoulder. And that puts you up here, right? 14,130. They're temporary, but this confirms bullish nature. Now, if this breaks out here, and now we need to break above, of course, right? There's that last spot. 14,100 really is the ideal range we need to break from. And then it gets to the bigger picture that we've already been studying. And that's why we know where we are, because we're getting all the way past. We want to get up here. We should keep getting up to the top here, 14,007. Obviously, then pullback, right? And hopefully we come back down to this region at 14,000, 14,100. If we break 14,100 strong, it could become the SR flip that we need. And we just keep gauging these SR flips and the bullish momentum of the pattern as we work a trade, Selling at 14,000, yeah, it was a good idea. Is it time to get back in? Now that question, honestly, you know what? You're going to miss the pump to 14.8, maybe even to 15,000. But I say we pull back, and then you get in at 14.2, 14.250 on a little wick once it comes back down to 14.400, 14.3. And in the middle of the night, it usually does come down. Like, don't worry so much about missing the moves. Sell that bearish div and get ready for your next attempt to enter. And when it starts to run on you, don't use your emotions, because look, always backtrace to keep yourself calm. Look at Bitcoin now, 12,689. comes up. Oh, I missed the move to 13,000. Oh my God. Like you could be saying that to yourself, right? But look, came all the way back down, 12,700. Came back up. I missed the move to 13,000. Came back down to 12,750. Oh, there it goes to 14, 13. I missed the move again. It came back down to 12.8. Came back down to 12.9. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, I missed the move to 14,000. No, you didn't. It came back down to 13.2. Oh, I missed these moves up here to 14, 16,000. No, you didn't. It came back down to 13.8. So, and if you sold, like a lot, I know some people there in my group sold here at 14,000, which would have been the smart move on the bearish divergence, right? Confirmed. So with that being said, you just, you don't have to FOMO back into anything, you know? And yes, you can miss a move. And fine, you might miss $100 here and there. But for the most part, you're not going to be losing money. And you're not going to be giving away your gains that you've already made. So let's look at the 1 minute now. Looking pretty spicy. Forming a bit of a bull flag. And I think it's breaking out already. Yeah, see, look at that. These are really bullish signs, you know. It really needs to break this level of support. I mean, of resistance. Like this, come on. Come on. And then obviously 14,064 here. So this is like a couple lines in the sand. But you can see that's a clear giant cup, right? So very bullish sign. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of gems on the 1 minute. There really is. And I never thought so before. My trading style is to focus on the 4 hour, the dailies and stuff of that nature, but I use the 1 minute for confirmation and many other things, to build ideas, to confirm bullish, you know, temporary bullish feeling. So it's kind of respecting these rings, right? I'm getting interested in the Fibonacci rings because they're starting to look pretty interesting to me. Because you can clearly see, like, look, these seem to be respecting a ring, right? Not perfectly done, but I mean, I understand. You know what's funny about me is, by just simply like half paying attention, my subconscious does like mental math in the background, and it kind of has put, you know, Elliott wave somewhat together for me. But I've never sat down and spent like, you know, 6-7 hours for, you know, that's how I do it. I literally write down one day, I pick a day of the week, I write Elliott wave Wednesday, you know, November 10th, whatever it is, and I write 1 p.m. to 5 Elliott wave. And that's the day where, like, it's just all Elliott wave for the whole day. Take a few breaks, obviously take lunch, drink some water. But for the most part, just Elliott wave after Elliott wave video, talking about Elliott wave, I just feel like my system is working so well without using Elliott wave theory right now. You know, like buying on bullish divergence, selling on bearish divergence, which always almost coincide with support and resistance lines. Basically playing inside of the bot land that has been created for us already. And I've seen people, I didn't go head to head, but I felt like there was a group of traders that were all about Elliott wave, and then there was me. And numerous times, like, I hate to be rude, but numerous times my calls outwon their calls, you know? Whatever. It sounds like I'm bragging, and I guess it is, but more to the story, forget about me and what I'm saying, is just be consistent. Like, if you're going to do Elliott wave theory, then I guess you should trade Elliott wave theory. Like, kind of, and I'm not saying don't combine everything, but at one point you can't combine everything. Honestly, you know, there's some people, I'm telling you, they just trade with price action and the volume. They don't need the MACD or the RSI. They use neither of these. There's some people that trade, you know, I'm getting really good at front running the MACD, buying in the pink, and getting the idea of where it is by using, like, you know, looking at the overall trade on the 1 hour. Like this trade. Like, I'll take you through some trades right now. Like right now, this looks scary, right? Because all of a sudden, I change my pattern Nah, yeah, it's still a broadening wedge. No matter, I wanted to change it into a rising wedge, but I can't. You know, this is a bullish pattern. This opens up, and usually what happens, I'll show you what happens, is it comes up here on this last one, tests the line, comes back down one more into this area, usually uses this area as support somewhere here, and then it's out and it breaks out of the pattern. Similar to how a rising wedge goes out parabolic in a way, you know. So that's kind of what I see happening for Bitcoin right now, if it plays out the way the broadening wedge wants to. And see, then you have to look for time frames that back up your theory, right? So if that's the case, then the daily should look somewhat bullish. And you know what? The daily doesn't look too bullish. But honestly, I'm trying to find the last time I saw a wick like that. And that's a hammer candle, you know? And these represent huge growth to the top. And why? Well, it's philosophical as much as it is a pattern to watch. Now, we obviously have to wait for this daily candle to close. But if this daily candle closes, as Bitcoin pumps to 14,100, now is this candle close? Oh, there's the resistance there. Now, if this candle closes, that's like a hammered doji, and you see how much push it has underneath it. And you look at all the buy, sell, little bit of sell, little bit of sell, buy, little bit of sell, buy, right? Wicks tell a story. Wicks tell a huge story. It's where the price went down to, but how much people were able to push up. You know, if it was a strongman competition, it's like, how much can the guy, how much weight can he push? He fell down, but then he's getting up and he's pushing it. Wow, you know. So wick, you can trade wick theory. Now this daily's telling me, oh no, you know, we've been this high before, cross down, looking for a cross, but you know what? I think we're going to get one more wacky loop. And let's zero in on the MACD, because look at this. See, well, the last time we had that, we did come up and curve down. This one curved down all the way. This one had a little V and kept moving, but the V tells you it's a bounce away. See, bounced away, bounced away, bounced away, or the other V the other way, like an N, right? Bounced down. But here, look, bounced away, and now here it's rejecting it too. They look like they have some room before they get close again, right? It doesn't look like it's curving down immediately. Like it kind of may want to plateau. Could kind of get this high before it curves. Could take us to 15,000, and then we could retrace back into that 13.8. You know, that very good chance that we have strong support in the 13,000 region. So by all means, I'm not worried about a retrace at this point. I just want more of a pump. So when we do retrace, we don't have to see 11 or 12. You know, the retrace will be sufficient around 13,000, mid-13s. Okay, so dominance now sitting at 67.74 is going to continue. This is the game with these alts, you know, that you got to play. Now, dominance falling off, now kind of flagging upside down, right? That's a bear flag. Just like they flag up, like this flags up. And hopefully we can see this fall down the length of the pole. Something like this nature. And we'd be back down here at 64.27. Boom. Okay, what's going on? Everyone, please give a big hello to T-Vision Productions. Good friend of mine, been asking him to come into the stream a bunch of times. We went over NIO earlier, and what we did say is, and you probably should have checked this soon, we said to sell. And the reason why we said to sell is the reason why, how we make trades here. And I could even just show you like our recent Bitcoin trade. What's going on, Tommy? So right now, just give me 5 minutes. I'm just going to give you a breakdown in another asset to show you what we look for as Bitcoin pumps to 14,184. And I got into Bitcoin last night at 13,770. You can watch the live stream. And we got in based on oversold, bearish, bullish divergence. And so let me just show you, Tommy. So if you check it out, when the price is going down, but the RSI here, which is the relative strength index, it's an oscillator that's an algorithmic basically takes an equation and takes an algorithm and finds out the momentum of a move. Tells you how much on average the amount of people are left to sell or left to buy after the herd has made its initial movement. So this red line here is hitting this dotted line, right? Which I put at 30 and 70. And anything below that gets you into what's called the oversold region. Now, regardless of that, when you see the price sloping downwards like this, but yet the RSI doesn't have the same slope. Like for instance, the RSI should slope like this to be in congruent movement with, confluent movement, you could say. This and that are basically going the same degree. I won't get them perfect, but something like that makes them look exact. Now, when the RSI, which is this squiggly red line, seems to diverge, meaning it seems not to have the same angle as this, we have multiple divergences that we look for that are also in a cheat sheet that I teach people. And it's called the divergence cheat sheet right here. I staple a dollar bill to it because it is money. This cheat sheet is money, and it's something that people should definitely recognize. So going forward with that, I look for these things to enter trades, and then I also look for them to exit a trade. And this told me, it's time to get into the trade, because if you look at the chart here, bullish divergence is represented by a swing low in price, but either a flat line or a bring up. Now, this is a little different. I call this secret divergence, but anyway. So with that instead, that brought up to you, and now you can see. And now I'm going to show you something with divergence here on Bitcoin. Now, this is also overbought region. Now, see Bitcoin getting rejected at 10,230 and then coming back down. It makes perfect sense that it would come back down like it is because it's overbought now. Especially on the 1 minute, it really respects these overbought regions. So with that being said, oversold down here, overbought up here. So buy down here, sell up here. Let's get into NIO for you and basically break down the longevity of the move. Let's see the health of the stock. And let's find out some more things that we can see. I already did some work earlier on the channel as we talked about it. And what we found was bearish divergence. What that is where we have the swing up here. Again, the same oscillator as in crypto. Nothing changes here. Price action, MACD, moving average convergence and divergence, and the relative strength index. Here we're really high on the RSI, but we swing down. We see that this is sloping down, but the price is sloping up. What we do is we look for the next big peak, which is here. And that's where we would take profits on our sell. The reason we take profits there is because we know algorithms take profits there. And that's basically how most people are trading. They're using these same, basically more expert type trading techniques that can be learned over the course of time. And so to sell at 39 is obvious. 39.75, I think we got to. On the 1 minute, it's even hard to tell here. Let's see how high we did get. This is telling us we got to about 39.75. Yeah. And now you can wait to see if the divergence plays out or not. Now, once you see the price starting to fall out, it's a good time to sell. And now you're looking for support and resistance. Well, with a pump like we had today, it looks like we could easily come right back here to 37. Now what you do with this is this is the 1 minute chart. It really only shows you the temporary time frame. Like meaning, wow, this may come back up again though. Telling me, why? Maybe time to get back in. But we're going to look at a bigger time frame now to give an example of what's going on, Now, we've been tracking NIO basically since around 16. So this is great. We're going to show you the daily. Let's look at the daily. The daily means every candle you see on the chart here represents 1 day. So if I park my little mouse here on this green candle, see this one here, and you're going to see what's O, H, L, and C. That's the open, the high, the low, and the close. So if I put my hand on this candle here, the numbers up in the upper left here are going to change. Like right around, they're somewhere over there up in the top. But it may be hard for you to see them, but open, high, low, and close. So like on that one, that candle on that day, which was October 29th, we opened at 28. Our high was 32. Our low was 28.32. And our close was 11.99. No, that makes no sense. Our close was 31.99. So anyway, and that's basically how you read different time frames. Now, different time frames tell you different things. Let me show you NIO now. Now, RSI, same thing, overbought, right? So we're going to circle all the times we see NIO in this region. 1, 2, 3, and now we're here at 4 again after a come up. So here, had you sold NIO at 15 when you were this high. It did retrace all the way back to 10, a 50% retrace, 10, 11, 1059, but almost a damn near 50% retrace, right? So if you were up 10 grand, you would have given away back 5. Yes, you could have just held it for a month and a half and then taken all the gains. So if you want to continue holding this, by all means, you're up big now. At this point, you could put a stop loss at 50%. Make sure you take in 50% gains like at 30 and see how far you go. Or you could put no stop loss and just ride this, you know, either lose all your money or get all your money. But what we're going to show you in the short term is here again, we peaked and we were high on the RSI, overbought, and the price went up to 21 and eventually would come all the way down on this wick here to 1562. So another about 25% retrace now. Here was a 50, here's 25. We broke out again and we got high on the RSI here, and our high was 26.57, but we would come back down to about 25, 28. Now the retraces are getting smaller. You can also see that's bullish. Then we had what's called bullish divergence pretty clearly. Yeah, right here, bullish divergence, meaning the price was falling down, but the RSI was going up. And on the daily, that tells you a lot. It tells you that the move isn't over yet. It wants more. And of course, it bounced right off that bullish divergence. Price going down. And this is right here. You can clearly see in this chart that I have for you that you could print this out. It's called a divergence cheat sheet. It's you wouldn't believe how well it works. And in this scenario, we have the price going down, which is the blue, but the RSI going up, which is the red. And here you can clearly see, sorry about that, the price going down here, but the RSI going up. They're diverging. They aren't moving in the same way. Normally they move together. Like this is a bend and an up. This is a bend and an up. They're matched. This goes sideways and down, sideways, right? This goes up, this goes up. Now this is going down, but this is going up. They have now diverged. They're not going in the same way. Now when we get the price action to bounce, now they're back in the same place. You are getting overbought here though, is what I'm saying, you know? And it's the second time in a while. Probably going to be a retrace. It also hit the target that like Goldman Sachs had at $40. Is there a chance for more? Let's take a look at the weekly. Now the weekly also extremely overbought. On a parabolic move like this, usually this will retrace. Let's try to find where the retrace is by using a Fibonacci retracement tool. This is how the traders are going to try to play this. And they're going to hope that it comes back down to the 0.5 Fibonacci around $20. But on a bullish retrace, maybe to the 382 at 2.5. So they're going to sell, and they're probably going to wait and start to put bid orders even today at 21 and 25. Now, will that happen? Who knows? But that's how they would want to play it. Have the price come back to them on a retrace, regroup, move out. But I definitely think some big traders would be taking profits today around 38, 39, even now. But the daily says, you know what? There may be a few more moves here, but you're getting into the parabolic region. You're getting overbought. You've had a retrace every time. The retraces are small, though. So it's telling you, hey, you know what? There's some steam to this move. And this could be the beginning of the catalyst for something really big, like up to 70 or 80. Let me remove all my stuff. What do I see again? Yeah, just it's going on a parabolic run here. It broke out of basically what's called a rising wedge. So, which is a bearish pattern. It breaks down 68% of the time. But when it breaks out parabolically. And that's what you had here. You had a breakout of a rising wedge, a bullish pattern. On your way out, could start stepping up, but can't hurt to take some profits here and see it retrace eventually. You are getting some wick action here on that daily. People are starting to sell a little more. Here's your first red candle after a few, and some sell action. People taking that profit. 38.65, and you're overbought here on the 2 hour as well. Look for that to retrace. Getting overbought here on the 1 hour. No bullish divergence yet, but you know, look at the last time you were here on the 1 hour, you came down. Last time you were here on the 1 hour, it came down. And with such a surge like this, I feel like I would take profits. Yeah, red candle is someone selling. Green candle is someone is a price going up. You know. So right now we're getting a green candle on the 1 hour, meaning in the last hour there's been the price has been sold from 39.61 all the way down to 38.50, right? Now, let's look at the overall market, because if the market tanks, right, it's going to affect it. So let's just throw the Dow Jones in there right now. We haven't looked at it in a little while. Also look at the dollar index. Dollar index bouncing back here a little bit, turning bullish on the 1 hour. May give Bitcoin a little bit of an issue. Also may start to turn bullish here on the 4 hour. Still kind of falling out of grace here from that bullish bull flag. And now the Dow Jones at 28,200, up 700 points today. Big pump. I haven't looked at the presidential election. We'll take a look at that together. You can clearly see, though, a bit of a V-shaped recovery here, bouncing right off of it. And again, this is the bullish divergence that we speak of. Price going down. I said this when I covered the Dow numerous times. That's why these lines are here. I said, oh, guys, look, we probably have some Dow recovery. And because of bullish divergence, it plays out regardless of what the news says, regardless of what's going on. TA, every time, it's insane. Everyone that's one of my students or in my group and learns from me, they know bullish divergence like the back of their hand. We go over it every single day. We see it all the time. I back test it and show it to you numerous times over and over again, just in case someone's missing it. Here it is again. You can kind of find bottoms this way. Price is swinging down. See the price down, but here the price is swinging up. See this loop to this loop, this down, this little, valley to this valley swings up. Tells me that that's the bottom. Also, you're getting oversold, but it's always the second hill on the RSI where you enter. This also coincides with my plan to always buy the blue line curving into the red in the pink of the RSI. And boom, look at the Dow recovering off of the bullish divergence right there. So when I saw bullish divergence right here, all I did was back test it the last time and, used it over and over again to see it. Here's another place where it's secret bullish divergence, one I have actually coined, where the price goes swing down here. The divergence still goes down, but the angle is far less suppressed. If we go up a little bit, we come down, the angle isn't as strong, and then you can have exaggerated where it's coming down like this, but the price is flat. As long as they're not both going down, and even then, oversold regions can show you, but the divergence really gives you the perfect place to get in, because you see your first hill, your second hill, you're in. First hill, your second hill, you're in, and so on and so forth, right? You could even look at NIO, and I'm sure we could find divergence on NIO for a place where it was probably a good place to get in to NIO. You go back to like a 30-minute chart, and you basically look at that RSI. So now, if you do take profits on NIO, you're just going to wait for it to come down here again. And this is where you're going to buy. Every time you buy below this dotted line, you would have bought NIO here at 17. Here's another dotted line. You would have bought NIO at 25. It kind of shows you where this stuff is, Now, CryptoFace makes $1,000 indicator that kind of does this for you. And it puts a green dot where it tells you to buy. And this is what's called market cipher, right? Now, above the ribbons, you got your money line getting really thick. You always kind of want to sell when the money line's that thick. What is the money line? Let me show you. This is this big green area here. See where the big green area gets big? If you sell on the second side hill of the money line and price comes down, we'd be high on the second high hill of the money line and price goes down. So you have money line, red, money line. When the money line gets this thick, also tells me it's a good time to sell. These red lines do bearish divergence for you. Green lines find bullish divergence for you. And the blue lines represent basically bearish divergence with the bottom, the green dots here. So they find bottoms and tops for you. Tells you when to sell. And then I also have a buy and sell indicator. Also, these red diamonds are basically, they're kind of like blood diamonds. They represent blood diamond here, price went down, right? Blood diamonds here, price went down. And we're seeing a blood diamond up here on the top. So just, throwing that $1,000 indicator. We also have the stochastics turning bearish, right? Coming down here. Every time the stochastics turn, that's okay. And the MACD getting high and turning on the 30 minutes. So everything kind of showing some bearish sentiment. Lifer, can you talk a little more about back testing? What are you doing, looking for, etc.? Of course, man. That's a great question. I really like that question. One of the greatest questions ever asked. Jesse B. All right, Jesse. Well, when I'm back testing, for instance, it's simple. Not simple, but let's look at the last bull market in Bitcoin, and let's see. You know what? Why would we buy Bitcoin at a certain time? What was it about Bitcoin at that time in that place that propelled it into those highs, right? Up to 19,000. So you'd want to go to the beginning of that move and kind of look for something that could show you, right, an indication, and then you'd want to replicate that idea and find it now, right? So you're basically retesting pumps to basically find out when you should get into a pump, right? So here, this is the beginning of the Bitcoin pump. Now look how parabolic it went. If you really see it on a chart, like insane, right? Nice. I like how we have it nice and small here, but like still manageable. Wow. I mean, that's what you call a parabola, right? And what you do too is you draw the parabola. And again, there would have been, we would have had me and you guys would have been studying. And what we do is we just keep selling the tops as much as we can. We get in habit of selling the top. And, you know, in a crazy sporadic move, that's why there's certain Bitcoins I'm just not going to sell. They're just going to sit on a Trezor. Because you know what? You never know with Bitcoin. But look at this. Bearish divergence. Swing up on price to swing up with a swing low. You sell on the hill, the RSI right here. And that's how you nailed the top of Bitcoin right there. So if we just keep doing what we do, right, guys, we should be all right. Here's bearish divergence here. So you would have sold Bitcoin at 5,000. It would come all the way back to 3,000. Here's not complete, but it's like secret bearish div because that's a pretty steep hill. And that's pretty flat. Actually, no, it is pretty much bearish div. And that would have got you to sell the top here at 76. Bitcoin would go all the way back to 55. So also would coincide with a re-entry in the pink with the blue line curving on the daily, right? So these are your indications of when to buy and sell Bitcoin as it makes its parabola. And then really no other time you would have seen bearish divergence until we got up here again. So 3 times during the cycle, the real big pump here from basically 2,400 all the way up to 20,000 where we see the bearish divergence. So this is what we're going to be looking for when we want to get out of Bitcoin, right? And when we're kind of projecting ourselves. Here's another smaller place. Swing up to swing up, but the price swings down low on the RSI, and that tells you we got to get out here at 29.71. We would come all the way back to 1,700. We're then a buy at the retest of the oversold region, right? So very interesting, and you can see too once Bitcoin left these places 1,700, it didn't come back. Like getting Bitcoin at 1,700, and that's going to be 10,000 one day. You're going to look at 10,000 on the chart just like this, and you're going to be like, and there it was, a speck. As Bitcoin's up here in the millions, and you're going to see 10,000 down here. Just like you're looking at 1,700 right now. And that's basically a microcosm of the universe. That's just understanding the system that we live in and the cycle that Bitcoin's in, you know. So I'd like to go to smaller time frames here and really get to the nitty gritty. But it's going to be hard to backtest smaller time frames. But let's see. I like using Bitcoin here, though, because there's so many gems in Bitcoin all the time, you know? So there you go again. We're on the 1 hour, swing low to swing low. And this is backtesting in a nutshell right in front of you guys, right? Just sitting here and playing with the charts, understanding, letting my subconscious seep all this in, you know? Bringing it in. And yeah, these would have shown you bottoms. 10,365 right there. Great place to get in on October 2nd. You know, and the more we do this, the better we get. And honestly, that's the first time I started to long right here. Remember? You guys remember I started long in Bitcoin at 10,600. I made the call around this region. I don't know. It was just all my due diligence of charting recently gave me that okay. And I felt it powerfully. I was like, you know, this is what Bitcoin's going to do. Now you can see Bitcoin, you know, just in this in this open shell, looks like it's going to really go where I want it to go. I mean, the name of the stream was Bitcoin wants 15K. And by golly, it does. You know. But thank you so much, T-Vision. What percent should I sell? What percent? I don't understand that question. What percent of like how much should you sell? I mean, I would sell the whole thing, the whole shebang, you know? Or I would sell profits right now and keep the bag in there and then reinvest the profits when the price comes back down or when it's going parabolic and we can establish there's even a bigger trend and then ride that wave, you know? It's good to have a plan though. Like your plan was to hold it for 5 years and not look at it, right? So you know what? Hold it for 5 years and not look at it. But this was a big pump. We should have a pullback. I mean, it's very rare that we don't. If we don't have a pullback, it'll be an anomaly, right? So ETH taking a huge rip here on the 1 hour. Booming up from 385. I had a feeling that 385 was that position for ETH. You can see it on the 1 hour. It's in a falling wedge. And it has now broken out. 1 minute. Very, very bullish. Going parabolic. And now what you do is you look for that bearish divergence, right? And you're starting to see it really heavily. So I would sell ETH right here at 407. Honestly, that's what I would do. I mean, that's the most exaggerated I've seen it. Now, would I be wrong? There's a chance, right? There could be bigger of a pump here. But to me, that's some of the worst bearish divergence I've ever seen. Price going up, RSI going down, and a triple bearish div, right? So that would be the move. Like, nice pump for ETH. Think it has a huge market cap. And went from 380 just now all the way to, it did 30 bucks on itself. 10%. 6.79, right? I would sell. I would take my money, you know, off the bearish divergence, right? And I wouldn't feel a damn thing about it. And someone would say, you know, it's only the 1 minute. But I've seen 1 minute call the top for the rest of the day. And let me show you, back test it for you if you don't believe me. Here's the 1 minute. Let's look at a last pump for ETH. Right here, nice pump for ETH. I just saw the bearish divergence. I see it so fast now. ETH pumped here nicely from 395 all the way up to 404, right? Now we have our swing ups here on the RSI, but we have our swing down. I mean, swing up on the price, but our swing down on the RSI. Bearish divergence. Sell right there at 403. Now, that would have been on November 1st, right? Now, look, that's the 1 minute chart giving you that bearish div. Look how high you were on the RSI comparatively. Look how big these peaks are. Always make relative comparisons to the other shapes around you to kind of give you how much more of a move this is. Like, that's really substantially exaggerated in my opinion because they're really big peaks. They're next to each other. You don't see big peaks like that. Here you have a little one. Here was massive indication that it was time to sell as well. Massive bearish divergence there. Like, it's screaming at you at this point. Like, if you couldn't see it, like, you just, you know, you're not doing your due diligence. So, and then, so you sell there, you sell here, and look at, if on this one you would have sold fine, you would have missed a little bit of the move. 396 up to 404. $8 move. Cried your eyes out. But now, sold either one of these tops. Boom. ETH would keep continuing back to 377 all the way down to 370. You wouldn't have had to look back on this, right? So that's why this sell right here to me is a great sell, and I wouldn't even second guess it. And that's why I use back testing not to use emotion in a trade, because then you can make a sell right now without even questioning it. You just know I did the right thing. I identified bearish divergence. I sold on it. Done. Move on. Move on. Don't even think about it again. Move on. And that is the beauty of trading, honestly. I hope you guys got a lot of that. End of the year? Yeah. I mean, for sure. Let's take a look. It's 407 right now. Easy 50% pop. Look at it in the double bottom forming. Let's do some fun analysis with you. Let's take a sharp turn on ETH. Let's take a look at ETH. It's not going to be the best, but we're going to take a look at ETH. I don't know if we're in one of these bull markets yet, so to speak. We're going to do a little deep dive on ETH for you. But number one, we have a huge cup, which we're kind of making a handle off. And that's going to explode, right? We have a double bottom. And then we have a double bottom here as well. Also a bit of a diamond pattern that we broke out of. So much to see here. That's definitely a diamond. So many diamonds, guys, right? It's been fun. We went months or two without even talking about the diamond pattern. And now we've seen it everywhere. Every couple of days, we catch a diamond somewhere. There's a diamond pattern for you. If it comes in from the top, it breaks out from the top, played out exactly to a T. And, yeah. I get rid of it now, though, because it's annoying. But now we're in a bit of a bull flag on the 3-day. Very bullish. This is very bullish. I'm going to try to get you, Theo, to a date here. And I'm going to try to use some logic and some spacing. We probably won't be perfect, but we'll do our best, all right? So here we go. This going up to 648. 648. Yeah. I mean, and let's see. Now, we're going to see the percentage of that move. %60.9%. All right. Now this, I'm going to have to get a door, man. Oh, so this is the 3-day chart that we're on. Interesting. So what we want to do is just mimic this 60%. It's the best we can do. It's not going to be perfect, Theo, but here's a little more. 68%. 69. We'll take this pump, though. So this pump was, yeah, 58.7%, we'll say. Great. So we want to go that similar distance, okay? And we need to break out of a flag, but we're really where the flag's about to break. We're close. Well, we could have some more consolidation here. We could come back down to the trend line one more time before we pop. So this could be your temporary high 418 for the next couple weeks. It all depends, and then we're going to take our measurement tool and we're going to go, okay, from here to there. Took about 42 days. Okay? So could we, if we go sideways a little bit and then break out, could take 93 days. We need it in basically 60 days. So, you know, definitely over 500. I'd say 600 may be a bit of a push, but it's very possible. It's very possible, right? You know, it's very possible. Let's go back to the bull market and see. We'll get more extended moves in the 3-day. This went up 4D3. 443. Let's see the last time we were in a similar position. We'll take this area here. So we were sitting here at, like, let's say if we take the lower of this wick, we're at 395 on that wick. Same place. And we came all the way up to 650. And that only took like damn near like 3 to 9 days. So we've done it before in 9 days tops, 6, 7 days tops in a week. So it could be done, man. If the demand is there and we're in a bull run, it's coming, right? ETH really in a little different of a position, but look at this bottoming out. That's such a beautiful pattern for like big gains. Like that is an altcoin pattern that you love. Look at the rounded bottom, like the textbook rounded bottom on ETH. You know, we don't spend enough time, enough time on ETH. You know, it's like I got 12,000 more I want to put in, and it's like, is it all going to be, should I just put it all in ETH? Or should I put it in Bitcoin? And it's like such a question. You know, do you want less than one Bitcoin now, or do you want like 30 ETH? You know? Yes, I'm sorry about that. Sorry. Took me a while. Now, this is bottoming out. 3-day looks absolutely horrible, but looks like there may be some pink coming, right? So the daily tells you that it may be turning. Okay. Looking good. Bouncing off of the support region here that we have. Previous support and resistance. Let me point it out. Because look, we hit it here, we hit it here, we hit it here, we hit it here, and now we're bouncing right there. So you take ETH over Bitcoin. It's a good idea. It's possible. I don't know though, man. The last time Bitcoin was like 1,000 and it went to 20, so a 20x, and ETH was like 8. Yeah, you're right. ETH was like $8 or $9, and it went to 1,200. So that went up way more. So ETH will probably beat it. It is an altcoin, so to speak. So here we get our bullish divergence that we always discuss on FTM. We are getting the rejection of the dominance, so a little room to breathe. Little room to breathe. But that could be it right there, man. Definitely an accumulation point. If you accumulate there, you can't get mad at yourself for doing that. Bouncing off resistance. We break this, though, we could easily come back down to 0.009. And then we break that, we come all the way back down here to 0.005, half a penny. But sitting at 1 penny and 0.3 cents, bearish, bullish divergence being confirmed here on the 12-hour. Confirmed here as well on the 4-hour, very, very strong. So definitely that's like, and that's the place to buy it. Like we have it confirmed right there. 1359 would be your entry into FTM. You know, considering down in the dumps, oversold on the 4-hour, on the 1-hour, on the daily, getting in there pretty good. Okay. Let's see what's going on. We just see something posted in Telegram. ETH USD. Yep, you're in a bit of a channel. Double bottom popping, double bottom pop. Fell out of the falling wedge. Now you got the 200-day moving average holding it up. Interesting. Could come back up to the top. Yep. I see what you're saying. I see the channel I see what you're putting down there. Interesting. I gotcha. So it did one of these. So it did break out. Came back for a funky retest. It wants more now though. I think ETH will come up at least to test 412, maybe 420. I mean, this election is going to push people to the edge, and when you push people to the edge, they buy a lot of Bitcoin. You know, bearish divergence again. So look, you would have been like, oh, he was wrong when he sold here. Bitcoin was going higher and he missed out. How much higher? It did go to 260, right? But again, that was bearish divergence. Clearly. Right? Actually, here it wasn't bearish div. You were just selling oversold, but here is clear bearish divergence. And then you're out. You nail the tops every time with bearish divergence. It's absolutely insane. And you can feel confident that you sell the top. You know, and that kind of shows that was the move of the day for Bitcoin. Now it either goes sideways in battles, but now 14,000 becomes its new happy home. And we want it to bounce. So now we just wait and we see if it can make its test above 14K, right? And that's kind of all we need to know. All we need to see is what Bitcoin's doing. The Dow looks like it's pumping with Bitcoin, 783 correlated assets yet again. Interesting. Also, do we see the Dow taking a little bit of hit? No, Dow actually starting to make a flag. So the Dow getting happy. Whoever Wall Street wanted in office looks like they're going to get it. Is it Trump? Is it Biden? I don't know. Do we dare go in to what happens in the polls right now? And do we see what's going on? Do we use Fox News? Do we use CNN? You know, who do we check on? I like this. We'll see Mike Maloney.
Trump versus Biden. Biden versus Trump. What will happen economically if Donald Trump wins? What will happen economically if Joe Biden wins? I want to thank Luke Groman of Forest for the Trees, LLC, for providing the most succinct answer to the most important questions of our time yet. And what he did was he came up with this marvelous table that has a Trump win, a Biden win, and if they're dealing with a Democratic Congress or a Republican Congress. So it's a quadrant of the economic outcomes that we will have in each instance. And here is this brilliant table. A Trump win, a Biden win, Democratic Congress, Republican Congress, and in each case, more federal fiscal stimulus monetized by the Fed and the U.S. banking system. And that means print. That is the answer regardless of who wins this election. And that means gold and silver will give fiat currencies a knockout blow. So where is the economy heading?
Will people dump gold for Bitcoin, though? I wonder. Is there enough Bitcoin for people to dump gold? Or is there enough people holding gold? What do you guys think? Will the gold holders dump their gold for Bitcoin? I'm starting to hear it. I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to think it. I'm a long-term gold holder. Do I sell my gold for Bitcoin? I'm thinking about it.
Well, let's take a look at this always cracks me up. Federal debt, total public debt. So the politicians get to spend it, and they stick us with the bill because they keep on promising us stuff, free stuff, you know, and the public can't seem to discern the difference between the free and
but they don't
not
have
so
that much
free.
gold, do they? No?
They don't realize that we're going to pay for it, that it adds to the public debt, and that it is absolutely
My wife
crushing
would never
the
let me
country.
sell. But
what
I
we
know it's a
see
better idea. You know in your heart of hearts. Like a month ago, if we sold all our gold and we bought Bitcoin at 10K and then we sold it all right now and bought gold back, we would have so much more gold. Like, I'm just being honest, right?
here is this sudden increase, and this is as of the second quarter of this year, and so we're up.
Then silver's held more than gold.
26 something trillion dollars.
Why I
Almost
wear this silver coin, man.
Right now, heading toward 28 trillion.
My Buffalo bullion right there,
This
baby.
is the compounded annual rate of change. So it's showing you the speed that this, you know, that not just the scale of it, not how big it, just how big it is, but also the speed of it. And what you see here, this is the global financial crisis of 2008, the Lehman crisis and everything else.
Look at public debt.
We
Like,
almost
oh
had
my
the entire
God.
world financial system break down. And then this is the response to the plandemic. And here we have something even more important. The total public debt as a percentage of gross domestic product. So this is how much debt and our ability to pay off this debt in the future. Because you
Impossible.
have to have an economy. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I presented this graph, and my chart master, Alan Hibbard, came up with this wonderful chart where I could just click buttons and I could lengthen and shorten the time scale and compress the magnitude of a move. But what I pointed out was that there's this A,
You gotta
B,
sell at one
C
point, though,
pattern.
Jesse,
This
right?
is called
What's the point
Elliott
of holding
wave
it?
analysis.
You gonna hold it to your grave?
Of the 70s bull market. So it started with gold at $35 an ounce. It went up to about $200 an ounce at the end of 74. And that is the A wave. And then there's a B wave to the bottom here, and then a C wave where it went up to the peak of $873. And so I had him overlay the current bull market. That's the green line here. And we took the lowest point between 1980 and today, which was back in 1999. Gold was $253 an ounce. And then, you know, the bull market only goes to today. So what I've got here is the 70s bull market for 21 years, just so you can see the difference in them. But I wanted to know what would happen if I lined up this A wave of the current bull market, and that peak was August of 2011. If I lined it up so I compressed this time scale, so and the magnitude, so I could push this over and then push it down to match that peak that happened at the end of 1974, the A wave of the previous bull market. And that, coming back to this time scale here that just goes 10 years.
This is super interesting.
This is how they line up. It's a perfect match. I mean, it's, not quite perfect. There's these slight variations, but the correlation here is astounding. I mean, when I saw this, it just sent chills up my spine that this was so perfectly correlated. And the outcome is that if, what it shows here is that we're right on time, really. It also shows that the duration, the time that this bull market is taking to play out,
these things
is
work out.
2.42 times as long as the previous bull market, but it's 1.8 times.
So that's very insightful. I'm happy if any one of you took that in with me right now, but that's insane. Gold to $9,000 an ounce, right? What are they saying with this now? Same thing I've seen since the beginning, right?
All right, welcome back. This is CNN's special live coverage, 10:31 a.m. on the East Coast. Why am I giving you the time? Well, if you managed to sleep last night, things changed. You may have gone to bed thinking this election was headed one way, and then you woke up and you saw things were different and maybe trending increasingly in another direction. Phil Mattingly at the Magic Wall, you've got a neat tool to show this.
Yeah, look, so this is the map right now, right? We've been talking about this for the last several hours. It shifted in the last several hours, but what was happening beforehand? You can talk to a lot of people who, if they were big Trump fans, big Trump supporters, went to bed probably pretty happy. Big Biden supporters, not super happy. So let's kind of track through this. I want to walk through how things have changed. This is at 1 a.m. in the morning. Look at Nevada, look at Wisconsin, look at Michigan, look at Pennsylvania. Well, just keep Pennsylvania where it is. Flip to 2. All of a sudden, Nevada flips. All of a sudden, Wisconsin starts to flip. Sorry, this is 5 a.m. This is 5 a.m. One more, Michigan as well. So I'll take all these off, and I want to watch it again, because just the progression throughout the night, as we were live on television talking about this as it happened, as things looked very, very good for the Trump campaign, particularly in the Midwest, Pennsylvania into the Midwest, Nevada as well. So we're waiting for a vote to come in. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 9:05 a.m. and you just watched it. And we talked about the progression over the last several hours. The progression in Wisconsin, the progression in Michigan, the progression that may be happening in Pennsylvania.
There's a reason for it. Explain.
Yes. So look, the best way to do this, let me turn this off for a second, is I want to open the state of Ohio. We've done this a couple times, and I think this is just the best demonstration. Because for a lot of people who were paying attention early in the night, they were looking at Ohio, and they were looking at the turnout in Ohio, they were looking at the suburbs of Ohio, and they were saying, think back to 2016, Ohio. Donald Trump looked like he took it off the swing state map. I'm an Ohioan. I was stunned by the margin in the state of Ohio. And early in the night, as the early vote was counted and released by Ohio, it looked like this was going to turn blue. Maybe had a chance to turn blue, but at least narrow tremendously. This is what happened. Looks pretty familiar.
Same
right?
thing as last time.
Happened in North Carolina as well to some degree, saw it a little bit in Georgia, somewhat in Florida. Basically, it was what kind of vote you were counting when dictated what this was going to look like. So that was Ohio. We have seen the inverse over the course of the last several hours with these states, with Wisconsin, with Michigan. Right now, Pennsylvania is still red, but starting to shift as well. Why is that? They counted Election Day vote first, in-person vote first. That, throughout the course of the night, throughout the course of the country, east to west, skewed heavily Republican. And that was by design. President Trump worked on that in-person. They blew out their in-person goals almost across the country. What was left? Well, the opposite of what was happening in Ohio. What was left was early vote. How did early vote skew? Very heavily Democratic. Where did it come from? Largely urban population centers, largely suburbs. In other words, Democratic strongholds in these two states, and we're still watching as it happens in Pennsylvania. Just a couple of hours ago, Pennsylvania was about 630,000 votes. 630,000 votes. 550,000 is still a huge mountain to climb for Joe Biden.
But it's 80,000 less.
But it's 80,000 less, and that has happened in the course of an hour. And why is that happening? Because mail-in ballots are coming in, more than 1 million mail-in ballots outstanding, in large part from southeastern Pennsylvania, Democratic stronghold, Allegheny County, Democratic stronghold. So that's the progression. That's why it happened. That's why you've had...
The Secretary of State has issued unclear guidance, in my view. That opens up further challenges. There are challenges like that in the court. I don't know that they'll affect as many ballots, potentially, as the ballots that come in that 3-day window. But, you know, Pennsylvania, I have to say, Pennsylvania has done an incredibly sloppy job in this election. It's been clear for a long time. It's a massive failure of political leadership in that state on both the Democratic governor's side and the Republican legislature side. And the country is now put in this position where we have 50% of the absentee ballots still to count in Pennsylvania. Now we do have to wait, we have to be patient, but we shouldn't be here in the first place.
So we're just getting a report that the Biden campaign says that Joe Biden will address Americans today. Axe, what do you think he should say?
Well, I mean, I think you're going to hear him talk about where the state of play is, and I'm sure a very strong rebuke of the president for what he did last night. You know, essentially claiming victory, knowing that these numbers were going to turn, claiming victory.
Yeah, exactly. I would only sell for land or a building. The only thing I would sell gold for is for real estate to get cash flow. Exactly. Thank you, Jesse. Yep. Exactly. So they got it at 227 to 213 now. It's getting very, very close. Wow.
And added to the unofficial totals after that entire pool of absentees has been counted. But there are no dark corners or locked doors in elections. Anybody was free to watch those processes as they unfolded yesterday. They could watch those ballots being tallied. They could watch the unofficial results as they were transmitted to the county and added in to the county's unofficial result sets. All the materials for an election are publicly available to observe as well. Some of those jurisdictions even did things like live streams, so you could watch ballots being counted all day if you wanted to, and all night. And so that's not the short answer, but that is the answer of why you see these large sets of absentees added to the polling place totals at the end of the night or early in the morning.
Okay. We've only got until about noon, so next is Emily Fannin. Keep your questions short so we can get in as many as possible.
Hi, yes, thanks Megan for doing this again. Real quick, can you describe to us what a recount will look like? Do they recount ballots at a central location or each polling location again?
Thank you for that question. So, you know, we've had practice in this. So in 2016, we were the only state to complete a presidential recount as well. And that recount process is actually conducted at the county level. So we have 1,850 municipalities, but we have 72 counties. In the
hear a lot of that from Donald Trump, a lot of mention of the courts. He likes taking people to court. He is going to go, he's going to fight for this, basically. And even if we do start to see a more clear path for Joe Biden, Donald Trump is going to make a lot of noise and a lot of threats.
We wait to see what Joe Biden has to say when he takes to that podium shortly. In terms of voters, though, the phenomenon of the closet Trump supporter, do you think that's raised its head? Because the pollsters, we know, got it wrong. And I think what they're saying is a lot of people weren't openly admitting to voting for Donald Trump.
Yeah, there is such a lot of talk about this silent Trump voter and so much debate over whether it actually exists, because so many Trump supporters are so loud and so proud in their support for him. And then you have this idea that the polls, essentially people aren't telling the truth when they're answering those questions because they are perhaps ashamed to be supporting Donald Trump. Sometimes people talk about being afraid to show their support for Trump because of the backlash that they can receive if they hang signs on their houses, if they show any kind of wearing the hat. You know, people have been attacked for that. It has been a concern for people. So it's really not clear whether the silent Trump voter is going to have a huge impact on this election, but it does seem yet again that the polls have underestimated Donald Trump.
I just want to read a statement that's come in from Donald Trump, a statement on Wisconsin. Despite ridiculous public polling used as a voter suppression tactic, Wisconsin has been a razor-thin race, as we always knew that it would be. There have been reports of irregularities in several Wisconsin counties which raise serious doubts about the validity of the results. The president is well within the threshold to request a recount, and we will immediately do so. So that's Bill Stepien from the Trump 2020 campaign. He's the manager. As we were saying before, they're raising the case before the actual final result is in. So they suspect, obviously, it's not going to be in their favour.
They do, and you know, Donald Trump has come out straight away. Last night we heard him, and it basically suggests he's nervous about the result by casting doubt on it. And this is not something that he's been doing just in the last 24 hours. He's been doing this for weeks on end now, particularly when it comes to mail-in voting, which we know has really shaped the way these results are coming through. You have that initial...
See, I didn't put a mail-in vote because I really didn't trust it, man. Like, how am I going to just put my vote in the mail, dude? How do I know it's going to get there? Like, I didn't have faith in it for whatever reason, just me being, and that's someone in my whole life, just things not going perfectly. Like, Murphy's Law is what I was taught as a kid. If it can go wrong, it can. If you can take care of something, take care of it. So, like, if I can go somewhere and vote in person, then that's what I'm going to do. You get what I'm saying? And, yeah, so that's about it. I'm not going to, like, give it off to some idea that, like, oh, I hope it works out, and then they just send it in the mail. Just not something that I'm cool with, right? So, anyway, I think these kids are destroying the house. I got to check up on them. Thought we did great today. I thought we went over Bitcoin in a wonderful way. I thought we made some breakthroughs back testing Bitcoin. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely did. I learned from you. You learned from me. The performance is real. 64.75 on that Bitcoin dominance. Coming back down from that previous pump there at 65. Really need to see it continue down. Let's look at it on the 1 minute. Are we getting, see, starting to kind of stagnate a little bit, but hopefully that's a bear flag and we fall back out of that. I just saw a comment pop in. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, thanks for the back testing. Anytime, guys. I thought we did really good there. I got a lot out of it, honestly, me personally. So if I did, I can only believe you guys did as well. Wow, Cake's still holding its gains after that horrible down spill, holding up at 29. So something to think about. Band, $4 band, got as low as 381, bounced back up. And Cardano take a little bit of a fall from grace, but doing really well after a mighty pump from 9 to 9.5 cents. Basic attention token taking a nice pump from 17 up to 18.2. And now Bitcoin falling from grace out of its high of 14,268 and coming down to retest. It's going to want to retest 14,000, 14,100, 14,050. And specifically this green line that I showed you right here with this double top. It's going to want to find out what it's made of here. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to get oversold at that point. Hopefully we have enough to bounce back off the 1 minute. And that gives Bitcoin some more support here at 14,000. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. And remember, if you came to my channel, then you're already doing the right thing. And let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. Crypto is life. Peace. Love you guys.